Why successful people suddenly fall apart? I didn't see it. Sometimes the collapse isn't sudden. The warning signs have been accumulating for years and years while success hides them. That's the cold truth. You can have money coming in, a business, people working for you, a family, a reputation, people looking at your life and thinking he's doing well, and still be much closer to collapse than you realize. I know because I lived. And looking back now, the warning signs were everywhere. I just couldn't see them. Because when you are succeeding, you can mistake your ability to keep carrying pressure for proof that everything is okay. But in fact, it isn't. Sometimes you are not strong. You are overloaded. And there is a difference. A massive difference. My name is Anderson Verissimo, and if you guys already been here with me, you know what I'm talking about. From the outside, everything looks fine. For more than 20 years, I built businesses, led teams, managed operations, and carried responsibilities, even when I wasn't the owner. At different points in my career, I was responsible for hundreds of people. Pressure became normal. Problems, solve them, fix them. Something goes wrong, fix it. Something needs an answer, find one. Another opportunity, take it. Another responsibility, carry it. And when you operate like that for long enough, something happens. You become very good functioning under pressure. You, like my father liked to say, you like bamboo, you're flexible, but you don't break it. That's me. That's a lot of people like me. And people reward you for that. They call you driven, ambitious, resilient, hardworking, successful. So you keep going. But nobody asks the more important question. What is all of this pressure doing to the person carrying it? I certainly wasn't asking. We're just living it. I thought capacity meant stability. This is something I understand very differently today. I thought because I could carry something, I should. Another business, another responsibility, another financial commitment, another problem, another opportunity. And with that, another risk. I keep adding the weight. And because I didn't immediately collapse, I assumed I could handle it. That's a dangerous way to measure capacity, trust me. Because humans begins to operate under the enormous pressure for surprisingly long periods of time. Until we can't. And when the consequences finally arrives, everyone says, what happened? Sometimes nothing happens suddenly. Sometimes you have been borrowing from yourself for years. Your energy, your sleep. It's much better now. From 4 hours a day, I sleep 6. Your relationships are definitely better. Your finances, your peace, your attention, your healthy. You're borrowing against all of it. And eventually, trust me, the bill arrives. And it's not cheap. The collapse. When parts of my business and personal life began collapsing, my instinct was exactly what you would expect from somebody who had spent decades solving problems. Fix it. Work harder. Find another opportunity. Generate more money. Solve the business. Keep moving. Because I believe the business was the problem. But the deeper I went into rebuilding, the more uncomfortable the truth became. The business wasn't the only thing that I need rebuilding. It wasn't at all. I did, and eventually I realized something that has changed the entire way I think about success. I had spent years building my business stock while neglecting my human stock. But Anderson, what is the human stock? Let me explain what I mean. We spend an enormous amount of time building the things around us. We build the businesses, our income, our investments, careers, assets, networks. We build our reputation. We build systems. We measure them. We track them. We optimize them. But underneath every one of those things, there is a human being. And that human being has a capacity. For me, the human stock includes things like your physical condition, your mental clarity, your emotional stability. That's one of the messages that I carry with me today. Your relationships with your friends, with your family, with your partner, with yourself. Your discipline, the power to say no, the power just to stand down. Your recovery, your sense of purpose. I love that. And your ability to make good decisions under pressure. These aren't separate from business performance. And that's what we need to understand. They determine business performance. If enough parts of the human stock weaken simultaneously, let's put it this way, everything sitting above, it becomes vulnerable. Success can hide the damage. And here's what makes this dangerous. Failure exposes problems. Success can hide them. If the money keeps coming, you can ignore bad financial habits. If the business keeps growing, you can ignore the exhaustion. If the opportunities keep arriving, and they will, you can ignore the fact that you have no boundaries. If people keep praising you, you can ignore what is happening at home. If you're constantly busy, you never have to sit quietly enough to ask yourself whether you are actually okay. Success can give you enough positive feedback, great feedback, to continue doing things that are slowly damaging the foundation. That's why some people appear to collapse overnight. They didn't. The collapse was being built quietly for years. The warning signs I didn't respect. Looking back, there were signs. Constant pressure became normal. Being mentally occupied became normal. Thinking about business when I should have been present became normal. Taking on too much became normal. Believing the next win would create breathing room became normal. And this is one of the biggest traps. You tell yourself, once I get through this month, once this deal closes, once the businesses reaches this number, once we solve this problem, then I will slow down. But another problem arrives. Another opportunity arrives. Another target appears. And later never comes. Eventually you have built a life that requires you to keep running just to maintain it. That's no freedom. That is a sophisticated form of oppression. And we don't see it. Let me tell you something. Money doesn't fix an unstable foundation. This is was particularly difficult for me to accept. I spent years believing that more money would solve the problem, would solve the pressure. Sometimes it does. Money matters. Financial stability matters. Cash flow matters. I'm never going to pretend otherwise. But money cannot fix every type of instability. No, it can't. More revenue doesn't automatically repair a relationship. More money doesn't create presence. More money doesn't make a bad decision into a good decision. More money doesn't give you back the years that you spent building. And if your operating behavior is the problem, given that behavior, more money can sometimes simply allow you to make bigger mistakes. So the question stopped being, how do I make more? And became, how do I become stable enough to manage more? That's a completely different question. The business can outgrow the person. Yes. This is something I want every entrepreneur to consider. Your business cannot grow you. Not because you are stupid. Please, don't say that. Not because you are incapable. Definitely not incapable, otherwise you wouldn't be an entrepreneur. But because the complexity around you can grow faster than your personal systems. Very quick. Maybe your revenue grows, but your financial discipline doesn't. Your team grows, but your leadership doesn't. Your commitment grows, but your boundaries don't. Your opportunities grow, but your ability to say no doesn't. Your lifestyle grows, but your cash reserve don't. Your responsibility grows, but your recovery doesn't. Eventually there is a gap. And the bigger the gap becomes, the more fragile your success becomes. Yeah. Today, I don't want less success. Now, I want to be very clear about something. This isn't a anti-success message. I'm not telling you to stop building. I'm not telling you to money doesn't matter. I'm not telling you ambition is wrong. I'm still ambitious. I still want to build businesses. I want financial independence. I want investment. I want to create something meaningful more than ever. I want to change lives. I want to leave something behind. But the difference is I no longer want success that the person underneath cannot carry. That's the change. I don't want less success. I want stronger foundations. Rebuilding the human stock. So, what does rebuilding actually look like? It isn't glamorous. Sometimes it's sleeping properly, training, reducing unnecessary commitments, looking at your finance without avoiding the numbers, repairing relationships, creating routines, learning to say no. Here's the best one: removing people or situations that constantly create chaos. Stopping yourself from chasing every opportunity. Sitting quietly, be present, thinking, recovering, doing fewer things better, but doing properly. These things don't photograph particularly well. No, they don't. And nobody claps or applauds for you saying no to an opportunity. Nobody sees the financial commitment you didn't make. Nobody celebrates the day you go home instead of staying at work another 5 hours. But those decisions are part of rebuilding. Yes. I constantly repeat that. Fewer decisions, better outcomes. One of the principles I'm trying to live by now is fewer decisions, better outcomes. The old version of me could see 5 opportunities and try to work it out, how to make all 5 happen. No stop. Boom. Today, I want to know which 4 I should reject. That's growth. Not everything that makes money deserves your time. Not every opportunity deserves a yes. Not every relationship deserves access to you. Not every problem is yours to solve. And not every season of your life is supposed to be about expansion. Sometimes the smartest things you can do is stabilize, relax, breathe, be present, be water. So why the human stock comes before the business stock? This is why I'm increasingly convinced that the human stock has to come first. Because business are operated by people. Money is managed by people. Relationships are maintained by people. Decisions are made by people. Till the robots take over, but we are far from that for now. And when the person is unstable, everything they touch eventually feels the instability. So before asking, how can I scale? Maybe ask, can I carry what I already have? Before asking, how can I make more money? Ask, do I manage the money I already have properly? You'll be surprised with the answer. Before asking, what is my next opportunity? Ask, do I actually need another opportunity? Before asking, how do I become successful? Just ask, what kind of person could carry the success without destroying everything else? Be honest to yourself. But here is a quick human stock check. So I want you to do something practical. Forget your business for a minute. I know it's hard. It's really hard. Ask yourself these questions. How are you sleeping? How is your energy? How clear is your thinking? How much financial pressure are you carrying? How are the important relationships in your life right now? Can you sit quietly without immediately reaching for your phone? Can you say no? Can you take one day away from your work without feeling everything will collapse? Are you making decisions from clarity or urgency? And here perhaps is the biggest question. If your business doubled tomorrow, would your life actually improve? Or would the existing pressure simply double with it? Think about that, because the answer tells you a lot. You'll be surprised. The new definition of strength. I used to think strength means carrying everything. Now I think strength sometimes means just putting something down. I used to think ambitious means saying yes. Now I understand ambitious also requires saying no. I used to think slowing down means losing momentum. Now I understand. Slowing down can prevent you from losing everything. I used to think silence meant nothing was happening. Now, some of my best decisions comes from being quiet enough to actually think. That's what rebuilding is doing to me. I'm still building, but I'm building differently. The rebuild project is part of my own rebuilding. The rebuild project itself has become an interesting test of this philosophy. I started as an idea when I was losing everything. Then we created systems. We created products. We created content. We created the YouTube channel. And people have started buying what we have created. That's encouraging. But I'm deliberately trying not to repeat the old pattern. The question isn't how quickly can I make this huge? The question is, can we build something genuinely useful without destroying the foundation underneath? Because today, I refuse to build another business that requires me to become unstable in it in order for it to succeed. Ain't gonna happen. And I think that is perhaps an ultimate test of whether I have actually learned anything. Please don't wait for the collapse. And that's why, and this was really why I'm making this video. You shouldn't need to lose everything to learn this. Remember, learn by love. Don't wait for the business to fail. Don't wait for the relationship to break. Don't wait until your body forces you to stop. Don't wait until the money disappears. Don't wait until you're sitting there asking how this has happened. Look at the warning signs now, because collapse is rarely one event. It's often hundreds of small compromises repeated for years. And rebuilding works the same way. Hundreds of better decisions repeated long enough until your life becomes stable again. If you look successful from the outside, but you know something underneath isn't right, pay attention to the feeling. Don't cover it with another opportunity. Don't bury it under more work. Don't assume more money will automatically solve it. Look underneath the business. Look underneath the achievements. Look underneath what you have built. And ask, how strong is the person carrying all of this? Because your business stack can be impressive. Your financial stack can look impressive. Your life can look impressive. But if the human underneath, the human stack underneath everything is collapsing, eventually the rest will feel it. I didn't see. I wish I had. But I see it now. And that's why I'm rebuilding differently. Not just the business, trust me. Not just the finances. The person, me. Because this time, I don't just want to build something successful. I want to become someone capable of carrying success without losing everything that actually matters. That's the human stock. And we are only getting started. Thanks for being here. Keep rebuilding properly. And I'll see you next week. And if some of those questions in this video made you realize that you're operating under more pressure than you thought, don't rush into it. Don't buy something that you don't understand. Start with clarity. That's why we created reality filter and the business pressure test. They are designed to help you identify where the pressure actually sits before you decide what to do about it. And if you're ready to go further, the Rebuild project includes structured systems around decisions making, execution, financial stability, and rebuilding, with the human stack becoming an important part of the ecosystem. But start at the beginning. Understand where you are. Then decide what you need. You'll find the starting point below. You can look successful and still be unstable underneath. Before you add another commitment, another opportunity, or program, find out where the pressure actually sits. You'll be surprised. Remember, pressure needs clarity. Clarity needs stability. That's your control growth. Check the link underneath, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for being here.